Okay, here we go. Let's do the patterns first, like I think that was Cassidy. So let me get an artboard. I want to just simplify it so I don't confuse you. So let's do that over here. Notice how you have alignment. There's always a tool for aligning things. Okay, come out of the artboard. And get rid of the appearance. We don't need the image trace right now. And so basically, a couple of things, Cassidy, and for everyone for patterns. Patterns are so fun to do.
Also, Professor, would you suggest that I have Zoom on my computer and I follow along on my iPad, or vice versa?
You mean like right now?
Yeah, because I want to be like trying to do it with you, kind of, but I don't know which one you suggest over the other, to do Illustrator on my computer or on my iPad.
Well, I know that the iPad does not have all the tools that I'm showing you.
Okay, so then I'll do it on my computer. I'm just going to pull up the Zoom call really quick on my iPad.
Yeah, make a tab. Right, exactly. Minimize Zoom.
How would I find this recording?
It's going to be on my playlist that I'll give to you, Briani.
Okay.
And so I'll copy and paste the URL.
Okay, cool.
Into the chat.
All right, thank you.
Okay. And actually it will stop. I'll render it during our break time so that I can get this up quick to you. Because it has to, when you record, you have to render it.
Okay.
So, and then I'll upload it. Okay, by the end of the class, it should be uploaded. Okay, here we go. Let's do the question that Cassidy had. So I'm setting things up. I need my tools. So I'm just going to do something really simple. But the one thing you need is your swatches. And I have them right here. So let me zoom in so you can see this. Oops. Yeah, there we go. So when you double click, that might be happening, Briani, when you're recording, if you're recording me. But because I don't know, I think you can record without your sound on.
No, I'm not recording at all. Like when I press the record button, it says, please ask host.
Oh, right. That's usually the case. So I'm recording for you now, so you'll be in good shape.
All right.
And it'll be actually, yeah. So anyway, you must have.
Wait, so you're recording, Professor?
Yes, I am recording this.
And then you're going to like post it?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. But don't go to sleep just because I'm going to post it.
Nah, yeah. Okay.
Okay. So things to remember here is, I want to make it so you can see everything nice and clear. So on you got to have your swatches up when you do patterns, number one. Color is helpful too. But the thing to remember is that if you double click this, watch what happens to my screen. Illustrator throws you up into a whole other situation. But that double click, to remind you, is because of the swatch, not because of my designs on the page, but because I double clicked within the swatch. And then what happens is that the double clicking, you come up to here. And you can see up here, you're kind of like digging deep into the program. I'm not at that top level that my normal page looks like. So if I wanted to come out of it, there's an arrow, I could jump out of it, right? So you have to remember that whatever you do here, which is what I'm going to show you, is going to show up here. But if you want to get that pattern tool, you want to double click like I'm going to do now. And so now you have that pattern. And obviously this is what I dragged into the swatch window. So now you can see symmetrical here, right? And remind me, I have a really great tutorial on how to make a mandala. And it's based upon exactly what this is. So this is actually, you're only designing a quarter of this. Do remember that. Because other than that, you flip it. Flip it, flip it, flip it to make the 4. The thing to remember, and so what's fabulous about this pattern option is, if you can see it over here, let me just move this, is that once you get your pattern, you can see what it looks like in the different layouts of how you want the pattern to be. So, you know, everything gets very much in a different sequence. And do remember that wherever there is white can be another color. It's your background. So this white is actually, you know, the artboard. So the design is not the white, it's all of the green and the orange. And so that's just the mechanics of getting around the pattern situation. Now it gets really pretty, you know, you get all kinds of things as far as the copies and the 3x3s and so forth, show on swatch bounds. But to me, I just found this to be the most reliable. And so that's really how you, in fact, the pattern options, you come out of it. The pattern options are not, here, you have the pattern options here. So watch if I click this, it shows me the last one I was in. So you want to be sure that what you want to do is you want to be creating your own designs, which is what we're going to do now so that you can see this. So I'm just going to create a circle here so that when I fill it, and you see that's what I have right now. You see my tool has my pattern on here. And I believe it's the last option is why it's looking the way it is on there. So that's you know, the part. And now you can come up here, and if I did a, see on here, it doesn't release it. Artboards, if I expand it, I can do a fill, but it's still the shape that you filled it with. So you're locked into the shape that you have created when you do ask it to be a fill. So let's go back.
Professor,
yes.
Can you also go over how you like made that actual pattern?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't know how to create the pattern. I remembered from last class like how to do what you're going over now, how to put it in different sequences and stuff. But I don't know how to create the actual
pattern,
colorful pattern itself.
Okay, so let's do that now because it's ridiculously so simple. The steps,
okay, great.
The steps are simple, but design is always more complicated. Good design is always more complicated. The step to get it done is not complicated, but a good design is always complicated. So I'm going to make a really simple one, okay, just to show you the steps. So let's just do something really simple. Now, the rule of thumb, and I'm happy you're asking this, the rule of thumb is that number one, as I'm doing this, I want you to realize Alt key down and also Shift key keeps things locked in parallel designs. You see that? You see that pink stuff on the bottom? That little the little pink window?
Yeah.
That is what we call smart guides. Have that on, be sure that's on. So that keeps everything to be what you want it to be, you know, proportionately. And that's really important. Who wants to eyeball that stuff, right? Okay, so then now what I want to do is I'm just going to take something and do it simple. Shift key, don't forget, Shift key is critical. And remember, and so you see there, see how it just snapped to the beginning? So the smart guides are there to help you. Do remember that you can send this to the back and so forth. And so on here, this is where I could cookie cut this and cut the line here, you know, to do that. But I'm just going to leave it like this, okay? Just say that's my pattern. Not the greatest, but I want to get to the step so that Cassidy can get her answer. But that's where I would cookie cut it. So, because technically, creatively, I would want this to be a different color. And it would be a combination, probably a blend between the two. But that's when you use your Pathfinder. That's when you fall in love with your Pathfinder.
Professor, can I turn on my camera to show you my screen? Because I'm trying to follow along with you, but I can't find some of the tools that you're using. And also on my MacBook, I don't have an Alt key.
Oh, it's right next to the Command key.
Oh, the Option key?
Yep. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
But I don't know why I can't find the circle tool. I thought
you have to mouse down if you have a circle. Now, keep watching the screen here. But thank you for asking me that, because yeah, if you don't have this, you're lost. So you mouse down on this, you see, and these things will pop up. If you don't have that, then you come here to the 3 dots.
Okay.
And the 3 dots would have something like that. But what you want to do is to put advance.
Okay. Is it the ellipse tool that would be a circle?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I think the reason why I can't find it is because I have the pattern cutting workspace up that we were supposed to create on like week 2 or 3.
Yeah. Come out of that.
Should I be out of that? Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to do that again for you, because if you double click on this, it throws you on, and you look up here on the upper left. Up here in the upper, we'll talk about this upper left in Illustrator.
Okay.
You see how it's completely different?
Yes.
Totally different, right? You want to come out of that and just get to your page.
Okay, so like for the workspace, are you using Essentials Classic?
Yes. No, actually on the workspace, yes, I am using on the workspace Essential Classic. Okay.
All right, so I'm where you are now.
Okay, good. So yeah, so that is something, you know, by default, it should all be there. But again, if it isn't, just double click those 3 dots down there and put it to advance. And then it will load up all the tools. You know, they will give you all the tools. So let me just zoom out. So
and then one more time, how did you, how were you able to like put the circle behind the rectangle? How were you able to change the?
So let me show you on that. That's a good question. So on here, notice when let me close all these up. This is my layers. Always be looking at your layers. So when I started, it made a new layer for me, and it made all these 3 rectangles. Now, when you highlight this, you can move this up and push it up, but you also can do this, which is Object, Arrange, Send to the back. So the reason why that is there is because you get a million layers in Illustrator. I mean, every blessed thing is a layer. And so who wants to drag it all the way down? So this Arrange tool up here, just either, and it's only within the layer. It doesn't jump out of the layer. So if you have something in another layer, it's not going to jump over it. It only goes up and down in the front or behind, because all layers in all graphic programs, top layer is always the foreground, bottom layer is always the background. So that's how I threw it back on there.
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
Yeah. And I'll show you, we'll do the Pathfinder. Pathfinder is like the most important tool outside the pen. I call that the second important tool. First tool is the pen. Pathfinder is the second one. Okay, so now we have this. Let me just zoom out so you can see where I am. I'm on a little board here, but this could be big. So the thing to remember when you're designing your patterns is that, number one, whatever is the scale, meaning size, of your pattern, that is the size that it will be. So if you wanted this, I'll just group this. If you wanted this with Option key down or Alt, if you wanted this to be smaller, then I would have to make it smaller, is what I'm saying. So just remember, whatever size the pattern is that you design here is what it will fill with. So now let me get my circle again. And again, Shift key. Shift key will always keep things proportionate for a square or for a circle or for a photograph or a design. If you don't remember that, any distortion will just really be not a good thing. You know, especially if you were given designs and then you distorted them, the roof would go off the studio. So just remember, in Illustrator, you need that shift key. In Photoshop, they took it away. You don't need to use it. Okay, so now let's get back. So this is how simple it is. Are you ready? You do your designs and you literally just drag and drop it into the swatch. And that's it. That is it. I'm going to take the smaller one now. Drag and drop into it. Now let's highlight this, highlight my circle, and now you see how the designs are made, literally. So as I said, it's really easy it's really easy in making it become a pattern. It's the designing the pattern that to me takes forever. So now watch when I click this one, you see? And then if I wanted it to be smaller, drag and drop it in. Oh, gotta hit this. And that is it. Now,
Got it. Thank you so much.
yeah, it's really fun. You're gonna go crazy with this stuff. I think I've told you this over and over again. Illustrator is my favorite tool. So now watch what happens when I double click this. Now I'm back in that pattern. Now the reason why it's so small is because my circle is so small. If it was bigger, but now I can see how, you see how this is, let me zoom in so you can see this. Ah, I don't get the, you don't get the, oh yeah, you do. The space bar, remember the space bar lets you move things around. I'm just zooming this up so you can see this. And notice, see, I'm in the pattern window.
So is it possible to change the colors, or it's gonna it has to like
Oh,
it just
totally.
stays green?
Good question, Brianni, totally. All you have to do, whoops, zoomed in too much there. All you have to do is change the source of the color. Do you see what I'm saying? So if I wanted this to be red, then I have to change it here and then re-drag and drop it in. Like if I wanted to make these two yellow, I would have to re-drag it out and drag it, drop in again, Brianni.
Okay.
That's how you change your colors. Now, if you want to use something that Illustrator already has, which is a very good question, this is what you would do. So let's take this, and let's take this design, and let's see, if I double click this, it takes me into the layers. Okay, so that's not, so that's where you get really confused. And so now I'm double clicked into here. I'll explain to you what this is, where you are taken away into multiple layers. What happens is, because Illustrator has a million layers when you're designing, what that double click does, like I just did, it takes you to just that one layer amongst all the others around it and lets you focus only on that one layer and nothing else. So what you want to do is you want to double click this thing, or better yet, hold on, let's see what happens here. Let's take this and let's expand this. Expand, fill. Let's see if it ungroups. See, I'm trying to break it apart, Brianni. I'm trying to break it apart. Ah, there is something here. Nope. So it's not going to let me expand. It may not let me expand. Hold on. No, not really doing it. So let's do it. Let's see if we can do it within the pattern here. So on this, here we go. This is what I want. You see how I'm messing with it now, right? So I want to move this here. Let's go back again. Right there. Let's ungroup this. It could be, I came out of that. Hold on. now it threw my swatch away. Here we go. Okay, here we are. So you see, I'm messing with the swatch here. There we go. Now I want that, right? Let's just say here's a template, and there's lots of templates. Don't forget. I'm going to go Control C right here. I'm going to jump out of this situation, and I'm going to just take this away. I'm going to Control V. There. Now I have it. Now I can do whatever I want with it as far as, now this has an appearance on it. How do I know that? Because I look at this color and I look at that color and I know that's not the same color. So appearance is something going on with appearance, which it is right here, which is 20%. Let's make this 100%. And there we have it. So now if I wanted to make this to become another color, got to highlight that. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Then I can drag and drop this into here. And that was your question, Briani. Okay, I'm going to stop so I get this.